Great job, buddy. Hey, man, I love how you're with your team this minute. Stay that way, man. Stay that way. You're gonna drive these guys. This is gonna be your league in a little while. But I appreciate you giving us this year.
And unselfishly brilliant on the court. In June 2007, LeBron James was just 22 years old, and he had carried one of the weakest rosters in finals history all the way to the championship stage. The media had already prepared the headlines. This was supposed to be LeBron's coming-of-age moment, the first step in his journey to becoming the undisputed face of the NBA. But Tim Duncan, quietly commanding the San Antonio Spurs, had other plans. The 2007 finals were a wake-up call for everyone watching, but especially for LeBron. Game 1 set the tone. LeBron scored only 14 points on 4 of 16 shooting, and the Spurs won by 9. It wasn't just a loss, it was a systematic demonstration of Duncan's mastery. Game 2 was only slightly better. LeBron put up 25 points, but he needed 30 shots to reach that total. The Spurs won again, this time by 11 points. By the time the
I think we get a lot. Yes, I believe that we don't get enough credit.
Do you feel like you get enough credit individually?
We should get a lot of the credit for starting the uptick in redeeming what we did.
That you led.
Why did I lead it?
You were a two-time champion MVP. Like, what do you mean? You get all the credit and blame for everything. You know that.
Yeah, but I was just better than you.
left LeBron scrambling. Duncan and the Spurs executed a defensive scheme designed specifically to limit LeBron's effectiveness. They packed the paint, rotated perfectly, and forced LeBron into contested jumpers whenever he tried to attack. Every drive he attempted was met with resistance. Every attempt to force the issue failed. Meanwhile, Duncan was calm, collected, and efficient. He scored around 20 points with ease, grabbed double-digit rebounds, and orchestrated the offense with Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Flash versus fundamentals, chaos versus order, and the Spurs proved that fundamentals always win. After the series, LeBron's young career had taken a huge hit. He had experienced what it felt like to be completely neutralized by someone who didn't need to prove himself through theatrics or media attention. Tim Duncan didn't trash talk. He didn't celebrate excessively. He simply played the right way, every possession, every game, and left the league and LeBron to watch. LeBron's own admission, sitting at the press conference with quiet determination, showed that he understood.
Not in the corner over Tony Parker. When we were talking earlier about preparation and routine, one of the most famous shots in NBA Finals history, one of the most famous shots in NBA history. What went into that shot?
That day, you think about that series, that's game 6. So I did that if you just think about those 6 games, I did that at least 30 to 40 shots before every.
Game 6 in Miami, with the Spurs leading the series 3-2 and up by 5 points with 28 seconds left, was almost the end of LeBron's narrative. Tim Duncan was moments away from delivering another career-defining defeat, and the Heat's championship hopes rested on Ray Allen's corner 3. That shot tied the game and forced overtime, ultimately allowing Miami to survive. In truth, it was Ray Allen, not LeBron, who saved his legacy that night.
The 2014 finals were another masterclass from Duncan and the Spurs. LeBron, even at the peak of his powers, was powerless against an aging but precise Spurs team. Game 1 saw Duncan and his team execute perfection, winning by 15. Game 2 ended with a 19-point Spurs victory. Game 3 at Miami's home court, where the Heat were supposed to make a stand, became one of the most humiliating stretches of LeBron's career. The Spurs scored 71 points in the first half alone, shooting 75% from the field. Every pass, every cut, every defensive rotation was timed to perfection. LeBron's body language said it all: slumped shoulders, no energy, no fire. By the third quarter, the Heat were down 21 points, and the arena watched a dominant display of team basketball that left the so-called king powerless. Game 4 ended with another crushing defeat for Miami, a 17-point loss. Kawhi Leonard was named Finals MVP, Duncan collected another championship, and LeBron finished with 31 points, still on the losing side. The impact of these losses on LeBron's legacy cannot be overstated. Tim Duncan's quiet, calculated, fundamentally perfect basketball exposed the limits of LeBron's ability to dominate single-handedly. While LeBron had incredible talent, athleticism, and basketball IQ, he could not overcome a team built on chemistry, fundamentals, and precision. Duncan didn't need media attention or flashy plays to prove he was better. His work ethic, consistency, and understanding of winning at a deeper level made him LeBron's kryptonite. LeBron's career from that point on tells the story of a man trying to avoid that helpless feeling again. The move to South Beach was as much about winning as it was about creating a team that could counteract the brilliance of players like Duncan. Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and later Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love became part of a strategy to build a system capable of competing with fundamentally sound champions. Even with these super teams, LeBron's legacy is forever intertwined with Duncan's dominance. Tim Duncan finished his career with 5 championships, 3 Finals MVPs, 15 All-NBA selections, all with one team, one coach, and no drama. There were no taking my talents elsewhere announcements, no media spectacles, no chasing validation. LeBron, on the other hand, has 4 championships across 3 teams, a 4-6 finals record, and a career that includes moments where his legacy depended on others, such as Ray Allen's game-winning shot in 2013. These facts have shaped the narrative. Whenever LeBron's greatness is discussed, Duncan's dominance is always a footnote. LeBron's 2 finals losses to the Spurs in 2007 and 2014 serve as a reminder of what it takes to be on the same level as the game's true greats. Duncan proved that winning is not just about talent or athleticism. It is about fundamentals, teamwork, consistency, and a deep understanding of basketball. Jordan never lost to Duncan in the finals, but Duncan's battles with LeBron show that even a player as gifted as LeBron could be dismantled by someone who understood the game on a deeper level. Perhaps the real lesson here is that greatness isn't just about rings or stats or media narratives. It's about the ability to dominate in the moments that matter most, to execute flawlessly under pressure, and to do it consistently. Tim Duncan did this quietly, without seeking accolades, without needing validation, and without taking the spotlight. LeBron, on the other hand, has often been chasing those same elements, learning the hard way that talent and athleticism alone are not enough. Duncan's legacy as LeBron's worst finals nightmare is secure. He represents what basketball at its purest form can look like: disciplined, fundamentally perfect, and unselfishly brilliant. LeBron's encounters with Duncan provide an important perspective for the GOAT debate, highlighting that dominance, strategy, and flawless execution are as critical as individual talent. And while LeBron went on to win championships, including the 2016 Finals comeback and the 2020 bubble title, the memory of those moments against Duncan lingers. Social media, historians, and fans alike continue to reference 2007 and 2014 whenever the LeBron-Jordan debate arises. No matter how far LeBron's career has come, those series remain examples of how even the best can be exposed by a fundamentally superior player. Tim Duncan didn't just beat LeBron James, he taught the league a lesson in basketball excellence. He showed that championships are won through precision, teamwork, and a deep understanding of the game, not just athletic talent or highlight plays. LeBron's career is remarkable in so many ways, but facing Duncan repeatedly showed that even a player of LeBron's caliber can be humbled by a player who focuses on the basics, executes every possession perfectly, and remains consistent over decades. Duncan's quiet, uncelebrated dominance contrasts sharply with LeBron's career narrative, which often includes attention-grabbing moments, dramatic moves, and the pursuit of validation. Duncan built his legacy through repetition, discipline, and mastery of fundamentals. LeBron, though brilliant and versatile, sometimes relies on circumstance, teammates, and timing to achieve similar levels of success. This contrast helps explain why Duncan is considered one of the most complete players in NBA history, and why LeBron's encounters with him highlight a critical weakness in the Kings' otherwise stellar resume. To this day, the Spurs' systematic destruction of LeBron in the 2007 and 2014 finals stands as a benchmark. It serves as a reminder that basketball greatness is not just about scoring, athleticism, or social media narratives. It is about winning, dominance, and understanding the game at the deepest level possible. Tim Duncan showed all of this and more. His career remains a masterclass in fundamental excellence and a testament to the power of quiet, disciplined leadership on the court. When looking at the 2007 and 2014 finals, it becomes clear that Tim Duncan's dominance wasn't just physical, it was mental. LeBron James was a young, hungry superstar in 2007, filled with confidence and ambition. He had carried Cleveland almost single-handedly to the finals, proving he could dominate at the highest level despite a weak supporting cast. But Duncan showed that no amount of talent could overcome superior basketball IQ and teamwork.
Every possession, every rotation, every matchup was calculated. Duncan didn't have to force his will. He let the system, his fundamentals, and his understanding of the game do it for him. LeBron tried to impose his athleticism and playmaking on the Spurs, but time and again, Duncan and his team shut him down. This wasn't just about LeBron losing games, it was about him being exposed. Duncan showed that a player doesn't need to be flashy to dominate. He didn't rely on highlight reels or media narratives. He relied on precision, discipline, and execution. While LeBron's talent was immense, Duncan's consistency made him untouchable. The Spurs didn't just defend LeBron, they dismantled him systematically. They dared him to take jump shots, clogged the paint, rotated perfectly, and punished every mistake. It was a complete lesson in basketball fundamentals, and LeBron was forced to learn it the hard way. By the time 2014 arrived, LeBron had grown. He had built a super team in Miami, combining his talents with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to prevent a repeat of 2007. On paper, this should have been enough, but Tim Duncan and the Spurs, even with age working against them, were ready. Their precision, teamwork, and basketball IQ hadn't diminished. Game after game, the Spurs executed flawlessly. Every pass was timed perfectly, every cut was intentional, every defensive rotation shut down Miami's offense. Duncan himself dominated the paint, grabbed rebounds effortlessly, and allowed his teammates to operate freely within a system. LeBron, despite his super team, struggled to impose his will. The visual contrast was striking: chaos versus order, hero ball versus team fundamentals. Once again, Duncan exposed LeBron's limitations. What makes Duncan's dominance over LeBron even more significant is the contrast in approach and mindset. Tim Duncan stayed loyal to one team, one city, and one coach throughout his entire career. He didn't chase championships or assemble super teams. He didn't make media announcements about taking his talents elsewhere. He built his legacy quietly, consistently, and effectively. LeBron, by contrast, has moved between multiple teams in pursuit of rings and success. Cleveland, Miami, back to Cleveland, and then Los Angeles. Every move has been strategic, often driven by a desire to win immediately. While there's nothing wrong with that, it highlights a crucial difference. Duncan mastered winning within one consistent system, while LeBron often adapts to systems built around him.
This distinction has massive implications for the GOAT debate. LeBron's raw talent is undeniable. He can do things no one else can. His versatility, athleticism, and basketball IQ are extraordinary. But when faced with someone like Duncan, whose dominance is built on precision, fundamentals, and consistency, LeBron is exposed. The 2007 sweep, the 2014 dismantling, these are concrete examples. They demonstrate that talent alone does not guarantee supremacy in the NBA. Basketball is a team sport, and understanding how to dominate as part of a system is a skill that LeBron has had to develop throughout his career. It's also important to understand the psychological impact of facing Duncan. After 2007, LeBron carried the memory of being completely neutralized into the rest of his career. Those losses were lessons in humility, lessons that forced him to adapt. By the time he formed the Miami Super Team, part of his motivation was avoiding the helpless feeling Duncan had imposed on him. The 2013 finals, saved by Ray Allen's miraculous shot, showed that LeBron's team could survive against Duncan, but it was far from guaranteed. That series reinforced a reality that Duncan had already established. Talent without fundamentals and teamwork can be exposed, no matter how gifted the individual may be. Even when LeBron eventually won championships in Miami and returned to Cleveland, the shadow of Duncan lingered. His victories were often framed as team accomplishments rather than individual dominance. Duncan, meanwhile, never needed to rely on teammates to secure his legacy. He created a system that amplified his strength and minimized weaknesses. Every Spurs title is a testament to consistency, patience, and mastery of the game's fundamentals. LeBron's titles, impressive as they are, often involved overcoming circumstances that Duncan had already mastered years earlier. Another key aspect is Duncan's defensive dominance. While LeBron is an incredible offensive player, Duncan's ability to read the game defensively has always been elite. He could anticipate passes, control the paint, and position himself to disrupt LeBron's drives without needing to force the issue. In the 2007 finals, every drive LeBron attempted was challenged. In 2014, even at his peak, LeBron struggled against a team that moved as one cohesive unit. Duncan didn't just stop LeBron, he altered the way he approached every game. That's the mark of a truly great player, changing the opponent's game before they can even execute it. Duncan's approach also highlights a major difference in legacy. While LeBron has had moments of individual brilliance and clutch performances, Duncan's career was defined by reliability. Fans, analysts, and players alike knew exactly what they were getting from Tim Duncan: excellence, consistency, and a team-first approach. There was no volatility, no over-reliance on other players, no dramatic narratives. LeBron's career, while extraordinary, has often included moments of inconsistency, criticism, and dependence on teammates to achieve victory. Duncan's quiet, predictable dominance made him arguably harder to beat than LeBron at his prime. LeBron's legacy will always include these chapters against Duncan: the 2007 Finals, the 2014 Finals, the lessons learned in between. These are critical moments that define the limits of his career when facing someone fundamentally superior. These series remind us that greatness is not just about raw talent, but about mastering the game, executing flawlessly, and maintaining consistency over decades. Duncan's ability to accomplish all of these things without fanfare, media attention, or super teams sets him apart as one of the most complete and disciplined champions in NBA history. Even looking at specific plays illustrates the point. Duncan's post moves, bank shots, and pick-and-roll executions were consistently effective, while LeBron often had to rely on athleticism, improvisation, or individual heroics. In crucial moments, such as Game 6 of the 2013 Finals, LeBron needed a miracle shot to escape defeat. Duncan, on the other hand, built opportunities for victory without needing miraculous moments. He created consistency, whereas LeBron sometimes depended on extraordinary circumstances to define his legacy. The quiet nature of Duncan's dominance is what truly makes it impactful. He didn't need to make statements about being the best, chase narratives about the GOAT debate, or seek external validation. He simply executed basketball at the highest level for 2 decades. LeBron, despite his incredible career, has always been partially defined by narratives, super team formations, and chasing validation. Duncan's example shows that true greatness is often quiet, consistent, and fundamentally grounded. When analyzing the difference between LeBron and Duncan, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the ability to consistently beat elite competition without needing extraordinary circumstances separates a good player from a legendary one. Duncan consistently did this with the Spurs. LeBron has had to adapt and rely on teammates to reach similar levels of success. The 2007 and 2014 Finals show that talent alone isn't enough to dominate basketball at the highest level. Duncan's legacy also reminds us that winning is a system. Championships aren't about individual heroics alone. LeBron may be one of the most talented players ever, but Duncan's Spurs consistently demonstrated how teamwork, preparation, and fundamentals can overpower even the most gifted athlete. This is an important distinction when debating legacies. LeBron's path to greatness included multiple teams, star players, and sometimes luck. Duncan's path was defined by building a dynasty that relied on internal excellence and preparation. Even off the court, Duncan's demeanor contrasts sharply with LeBron's media presence. He rarely gave interviews that glorified himself, rarely needed to be the center of attention, and never created drama for personal gain. LeBron, while highly respected, has often been the focal point of media narratives, social media debates, and public attention. Duncan's low-key approach allowed him to dominate quietly, letting the results speak for themselves. LeBron's high-profile moves make his victories impressive, but they also invite scrutiny and comparisons that Duncan avoided entirely. To this day, the discussion of LeBron versus Duncan remains relevant. Social media and fan debates constantly remind LeBron of those finals. Every time the GOAT conversation comes up, fans bring up 2007 and 2014, highlighting the series where Duncan dismantled him. These aren't just numbers or statistics, they are psychological markers that define the limits of LeBron's ability to dominate someone who is fundamentally superior. It's a reminder that greatness isn't just about scoring, athleticism, or highlight reels. It's about precision, teamwork, and consistency.